What is Bitcoin? Why is it special? Find out in this episode. Bitcoin is the OG cryptocurrency. But what is a cryptocurrency and why should I care? A cryptocurrency is a type of digital money, especially one that uses cryptography and decentralization to make sure that you can only spend each unit once and that you can only create new units after performing some service to the community. You might ask, but if I use digital US dollars already, what benefits do I gain by using crypto? There are many problems with the US dollar, which crypto can solve. Since this episode is an introduction, I will focus on Bitcoin, the original gangsta, and the solutions and limitations which it offers. First, let's analyze fiat currencies, like the US dollar, the euro, and the Chinese yuan. Fiat currencies are centrally controlled, have potentially unlimited quantity. So when you hear this, think inflation. The total quantity of fiat currencies are tied to arbitrary decisions by the central authorities, which in the case of the US dollar is the Federal Reserve. Fiat currencies can be potentially anonymous if dealt in cash, but are of course not private if dealt digitally. Fiat currencies require trust in the people and institutions with whom you do business, along with the intermediaries as well. If deposited in a bank, fiat can be easily confiscated by the authorities. In the US, this is called civil asset forfeiture. Fiat currencies can be difficult to make cross-border payments with as well. Transactions with fiat currencies, at least, with my experience here in the US, is that the electronic payments of fiat currencies tend to be reversible. Transactions with fiat can also be censored by governments, banks, and other institutions that are involved along the way, because I don't own all the infrastructure that carries the ones and zeros across the country to signal that I'm sending money to somebody else, or vice versa. So basically, the government or anybody along the way could censor the transaction if they wanted to. So now we're moving on to Bitcoin. What makes Bitcoin different? Bitcoin is decentralized, so no single entity has power over the Bitcoin network. This is due to the fact that Bitcoin uses blockchain technology as its foundation. The total quantity of Bitcoin is also limited at 21 million. So this is in contrast to fiat currencies, which are basically unlimited in their quantity. So the quantity of new Bitcoins is determined by an exponential decay function. Bitcoin is pseudonymous. Instead of using your real name, you use your public key. But beware, as soon as someone is able to link your public key to your real identity, your entire transaction history for that wallet is revealed. If you can understand the code, Bitcoin can be trustless. However, those who cannot read the code must trust that the code itself is legitimate. However, Bitcoin still has an advantage for those people, in that they do not need to trust any third party. Like, if I were to use PayPal, I would need to trust PayPal. But if I use Bitcoin, I don't need to trust any single entity as an intermediary for that transaction. And with Bitcoin, if my private keys are well hidden, Bitcoin can be extremely difficult to be confiscated, because the actual Bitcoins themselves are not in my possession. They're in the possession of many computers across the globe. Bitcoin is just a distributed ledger, a bunch of computers taking down notes of who owns what and who sends what to whom. And so the private key is just what I use to show that it's really me sending the crypto from that wallet. And with Bitcoin, sending Bitcoin to anyone's wallet is fairly easy once you get the hang of it. And I can show you all in a future video how to actually do a transaction on the blockchain. I really look forward to that. And with Bitcoin, beware, transactions, once they're confirmed, they are irreversible. And that's both a good thing and a bad thing as well. For those who are willing to take responsibility for their own financial lives, it can be an extremely good thing, because this means that they can depend on the transactions which they make, that they are solid. But for those who are used to, having the ability to get your money back at a moment's notice and stuff, it will take a little bit of getting used to for those who are used to the old traditional financial system. And so with Bitcoin, the transactions can be completed despite what any governments, banks, or other institutions think. And as Roger Ver, aka Bitcoin Jesus, said, at the end of the day, no, Bitcoin, the protocol, can't be regulated. Obviously, men with guns wearing costumes are scary, but a gun can't change the mathematics behind Bitcoin. Keep in mind, Bitcoin is only the first cryptocurrency as we know it. Obviously, there are a ton of improvements that have been made to the original concept by Satoshi Nakamoto. That's why you see many different types of cryptocurrencies, from Bitcoin to Bitcoin Cash, to Ethereum, to Litecoin, to Dogecoin, to Marscoin. Each of these cryptos has its own set of pros and cons, which I hope to address in future videos as well. So my challenge to you all this week is to do a self-assessment of your own financial situation. So ask yourself some questions like, if the dollar were to go into hyperinflation tomorrow, would my family be prepared? If crypto is a viable alternative from a technological perspective, is there anything that would stop me from having some and potentially using it as a source of payment in the future? And what if the government, for whatever reason, were to seize my entire bank account tomorrow through civil asset forfeiture? Would my entire net worth be down the tubes at that point? Because that kind of stuff has actually happened to people before, even people who are innocent of being convicted of a crime. Because of the way civil asset forfeiture laws work in a lot of places in the U.S., you don't have to be an actual criminal in order to have your assets taken away basically forever by the local police. And so yeah, I can put some links in the description to some resources about that topic. And so once you ask yourself those questions, decide for yourself what you should do now to prepare yourself for when trouble comes. And special thanks to Jenny the Libertarian for giving myself, Outsmart Big Brother, and the Mars Initiative a shout out on Twitter. By the way, did you know that the Mars Initiative, a nonprofit dedicated to funding humanity's first trip to Mars, accepts and holds crypto donations? I personally volunteer for them, and I think that it is really cool that they accept crypto donations. So please let me know in the comments what you would like me to cover in future videos, and please like, follow, and share if you enjoyed this content, and stay free, everyone.